Welcome back to your ultimate Beyond the Gates weekly breakdown. This week's episodes are packed with emotional confrontations, shocking decisions, and intense family drama that will leave fans completely stunned. Let's dive straight into Monday's episode, where the story begins on a deeply emotional note. The episode opens with Bill and Danny sharing a quiet but powerful moment together. After everything they've been through, there's a noticeable tension between them, but also a sense of understanding that has been missing for a long time. Danny, clearly overwhelmed, finally allows herself to be vulnerable. She opens up about her fears, her doubts, and the emotional toll recent events have taken on her. Bill, on the other hand, seems more grounded than usual. He listens, really listens, without interrupting, without judgment. This heart-to-heart conversation becomes a turning point. It's not dramatic or explosive, but it's real. You can feel that both of them are trying to rebuild something that was once broken. Whether it's trust, love, or simply respect, this moment matters. Meanwhile, the situation with Anita takes a serious turn. Her condition worsens, and the atmosphere around her becomes increasingly tense. The family is clearly worried, but there's also a sense that something bigger is coming. Anita has always been a strong presence, someone who holds everything together. Seeing her in this vulnerable state shakes everyone to the core. At the hospital, Smitty receives an urgent call that immediately changes his demeanor. The urgency in his voice and the concern in his eyes tell us that this is not just another routine update. Something is wrong, very wrong. As he rushes to respond, viewers are left wondering just how serious Anita's condition really is. Back at home, Joey steps in during a moment of emotional vulnerability. Vanessa is struggling, clearly overwhelmed by everything happening around her. Joey's presence brings a sense of calm. He doesn't try to fix everything, he simply offers support, understanding, and comfort. It's a quiet but meaningful interaction that shows a different side of Joey, one that viewers don't always get to see. As Monday's episode comes to a close, the emotional weight continues to build. Nothing is fully resolved, but the groundwork has been laid for an intense week ahead. Now moving into Tuesday's episode, the tension rises quickly. Grayson steps into the spotlight with a message that is anything but ordinary. There's a sense of danger surrounding him, something in his tone, his body language, suggests that whatever he's bringing isn't good news. And he doesn't disappoint. The message he delivers sends shockwaves through everyone involved. At the same time, Anita faces one of the most important decisions of her life. Despite her worsening condition, she refuses to be passive. Instead, she takes control, making a decision about her future that no one saw coming. It's bold, it's unexpected, and it changes everything. Elsewhere, Nicole and Danny receive devastating news from Vernon. The weight of his words hits them hard, leaving both of them visibly shaken. Danny, who was just beginning to find some emotional balance, is once again thrown into uncertainty. Meanwhile, Tomas steps in to comfort Kat, who is clearly struggling after recent events. Their interaction is filled with quiet emotion. Tomas doesn't say much, but his presence speaks volumes. Kat, on the other hand, is trying to stay strong, but it's clear that she's on the edge. By the end of Tuesday's episode, the stakes have risen significantly. Every character seems to be dealing with something heavy, something that could change their lives in an instant. Because as we move into Wednesday's episode, everything starts to intensify in ways no one could have predicted. The Dupree family comes together in a powerful show of unity as Anita's condition continues to hang in the balance. The emotional weight of the situation is undeniable. Each member of the family processes it differently, some with quiet strength, others with visible fear, but one thing is clear, Anita is the heart of this family, and without her, everything feels uncertain. The scenes surrounding Anita are deeply emotional. There's a sense that time is running out, and everyone wants to say what they've been holding back. Old wounds resurface, unspoken words finally come out, and relationships are tested in ways that feel both painful and necessary. Meanwhile, Ted finds himself at a crossroads. Struggling with his own internal conflict, he turns to an unlikely source for advice. This unexpected conversation brings a fresh perspective, one that Ted didn't even realize he needed. It challenges him, forces him to look at things differently, and ultimately pushes him toward a decision that could have lasting consequences. At the same time, Bill makes a surprising move. After everything that has happened, he tells Haley that he's had a change of heart about their future. This revelation doesn't come out of nowhere, it's been building quietly over time. But hearing it spoken out loud changes everything. Haley is caught off guard. There's a mix of emotions, confusion, hope, hesitation. She wants to believe him, but she also knows how complicated things are. This moment creates a shift in their dynamic, one that could either bring them closer together or push them further apart. Elsewhere, Lynette finally gets what she's been wanting. But as always, in a world like this, getting what you want doesn't always come without consequences. There's a subtle tension in her storyline, a feeling that this victory might not be as straightforward as it seems. As Wednesday's episode wraps up, there's a sense that everything is moving toward a breaking point. And then comes Thursday, where things take an even more dramatic turn. Jacob begins to dig deeper, pressing Grayson for information. There's something about Grayson that doesn't sit right with him, and he's determined to uncover the truth. The conversation between them is tense, layered with suspicion and hidden motives. Grayson, however, isn't easy to crack. He gives just enough to keep Jacob engaged, but not enough to reveal his full hand. This back and forth creates a sense of mystery that adds another layer to the story. What exactly is Grayson hiding? And how far is Jacob willing to go to find out? Meanwhile, Isaiah finds himself in a difficult position as he steps up to defend Eva against his own mother. This moment is powerful because it shows his growth. He's no longer willing to stay silent or play it safe. Instead, he chooses to stand up for what he believes is right, even if it creates tension within his own family. The confrontation is emotional and intense. His mother, clearly not used to being challenged, reacts strongly. But Isaiah doesn't back down. This moment could redefine their relationship moving forward. On a lighter note, but still important, Ashley delivers some good news that brings a brief moment of relief amid all the chaos. It's a reminder that even in the middle of drama and uncertainty, there are still moments of hope. But that sense of relief doesn't last long. Leslie confronts Vernon in a scene filled with tension. There's history between them, unresolved issues that have been simmering beneath the surface. When they finally face each other, everything comes spilling out. The confrontation is sharp, direct, and impossible to ignore. At the same time, Bill is blindsided by a shocking request. It's something he never expected, and it forces him to reconsider everything he thought he knew. This moment adds another layer of complexity to his storyline, showing that his journey is far from over. And then we have Kat and Ted, who finally come to an understanding. After everything they've been through, this moment feels earned. It's not perfect, and it doesn't solve everything, but it's a step forward. And sometimes, that's enough. As Thursday's episode comes to an end, the tension is at an all-time high. Every storyline is building towards something bigger, something that promises to shake everything to its core. And with Friday still ahead, it's clear that the biggest moments are yet to come. As we finally arrive at Friday's episode, the tension that has been building all week reaches its peak. Every storyline begins to collide, every emotion rises to the surface, and the consequences of earlier decisions start to unfold in powerful and unexpected ways. The episode wastes no time diving straight into conflict, as Haley and Tomas find themselves locking horns over Lynette. What starts as a disagreement quickly escalates into something far more intense. Both of them are standing their ground, unwilling to back down, and it becomes clear that this is not just about Lynette, it's about control, loyalty, and unresolved feelings that have been simmering beneath the surface. Haley, already emotionally vulnerable after her recent conversation with Bill, is not in the mood to be challenged. She pushes back hard, refusing to let Tomas dictate the situation. Tomas, on the other hand, believes he's doing what's right, but his approach only fuels the fire. Their confrontation is sharp, emotional, and filled with underlying tension. Words are exchanged that can't be taken back, and by the time the scene ends, it's clear that this conflict is far from over. Meanwhile, Naomi steps into her own moment of intensity as she lays into Isaiah. The confrontation is explosive. Naomi doesn't hold anything back, her frustration, her disappointment, her anger, all of it comes pouring out. Isaiah, who had shown so much strength the day before by standing up for Eva, now finds himself on the receiving end of someone else's truth. The situation is complicated, layered with emotion and misunderstanding. He tries to defend himself, tries to explain his actions, but Naomi isn't ready to listen. This scene is raw and emotional, highlighting just how fragile relationships can become when trust is shaken. Elsewhere, Jacob finds himself caught between a rock and a hard place. The pressure surrounding him has been building for days, and now it finally reaches a breaking point. He's being pulled in different directions, forced to make choices that could have serious consequences no matter what he decides. There's no easy way out for Jacob. Every option comes with a cost, and the weight of that reality is written all over his face. This internal struggle adds a layer of suspense to his storyline, leaving viewers wondering what choice he will ultimately make. At the same time, Smitty steps in once again as a source of comfort, this time for a family member who is struggling to cope with everything that's happening. His calm presence and genuine empathy make a difference, even if it's just for a moment. These quieter scenes serve as an emotional anchor in an otherwise intense episode, reminding us that even in chaos, human connection still matters. Meanwhile, Nicole receives a surprising update from Danny, one that she wasn't expecting at all. The news shifts her perspective and adds a new layer of complexity to her storyline. Danny, who has been on an emotional roller coaster all week, seems to have reached a new level of clarity. But whether that clarity will lead to peace or more conflict remains to be seen. And then comes a moment that could change everything. Vernon gives his blessing where Bill is concerned. This decision carries significant weight, not just for Bill, but for everyone connected to him. It signals a shift in power, in trust, and in the direction of the story itself. Bill, who has been navigating uncertainty all week, now finds himself in a position that could redefine his future. But as with everything in Beyond the Gates, nothing is ever simple. Because just when it seems like certain storylines are reaching resolution, new questions begin to emerge. What will Haley do next after her clash with Tomas? Can Isaiah repair the damage done with Naomi? Will Jacob make the right choice, or will his decision lead to even bigger consequences? And most importantly, what lies ahead for Anita, whose presence continues to loom over everything, even as her condition remains uncertain? As Friday's episode comes to a close, there's no sense of finality, only anticipation. The kind that keeps you thinking, keeps you guessing, and keeps you coming back for more. Because in this world, every ending is just the beginning of something new.